Hi, I'm Dave, welcome to the channel. For probably the last time this year, say it with me. Today is a good day, because today is a new Revoslot day. Let's start by taking a look at this livery. It is unusual, and Revoslot have done a fantastic job on it. The colours are very vibrant, the black lines are crisp edged, the decals are, as far as I can see, perfect and straight in every place. The white is incredibly bright. I don't know what paint they used, but it really does pop, and the clear coat is blemish free. It's a Revoslot. It's sort of what we expect now from Revoslot, I think. The car itself, as you can see, the main sponsor is Swisstex California, which is a US division of the Swisstex Industrial Fabric Dyeing and Dyeing Machines Company. This is why I think the livery shows these blocks of colour, and I think it's also fair to say they take a bit of inspiration from Pierre Mondrian's paintings. The car itself was operated by Swiss racing team Stadler Motorsport, who operated cars in GT2 and GT3 for a number of years. But this car itself seems to have had a very short life as a GT2 race car, running just one season in 1998 in the FIA GT2 Championship. Driven by two drivers, Uwe Sick, who is a Swiss driver and coincidentally the managing director of Swisstech Machinery Inc. And he had a racing career that went from 94 to 98 in GT2 and GT3 classes. Not entirely successful, 35 starts, only 25 finishes, 9 retirements, and his best results were 11th twice, one of which got him a third in class at Silverstone in GT2. And his co-driver was Axel Rohr, who's a German driver who drove from 1996 to 2001. In GT2 he only had 18 starts, 12 finishes, 6 retirements, and his highest placed drive was 7th. So neither of these drivers were incredibly accomplished or even accomplished much with this car, because unfortunately, although the 1998 season started well for this car, with top 10 class finishes in the first 5 rounds, the remaining 5 rounds were not so good, as there were 4 retirements and 1 didn't start. So then back to the model, which as I said is absolutely immaculate. Lovely bright colours, good clear coat across the top of it. Can't find any faults on this paint at all. All the usual stuff underneath, and because it's a GT2 class of Revoslot, it is pre-drilled for the switch and the sensor for a Carrera digital chip, which is very helpful. Now these screws on this one, these are an earlier designed Revoslot chassis. They don't have the slot cut holes in them for the body screws, so you have to take them out, and on the 911s these are incredibly long screws, so it can be a bit of a laborious process getting the shell off these cars. I think that's probably my only criticism of them. As you'd expect from Revoslot, a really nice light vacuum formed interior, and of course the posts have got these 4 black rubber covers on them. Now the colour of the cover determines how deep the offset is from the body post, so if you want to raise or lower the body you get different coloured posts, and it's like 1mm, 2mm, 3mm offsets. But we'll put that and the screws to the side for the moment and concentrate on the chassis. Standard form really for these GT2 Revoslots, 21,000 RPM motor, all of the lovely anodised bearing carriers and everything. I don't think the gear mesh is too much trouble, and the wheels do look like they've been spaced correctly. I will just check it, finding some centre points and the centre line on my setup block, and then use the grid lines just to check that it's all square. So a little bit fiddly just getting it to line up exactly, although on this one you'll notice, purely coincidentally, the back of the chassis is about the same width as that blank space on my setup block. So get this nicely centred and you should be able to see There's 1 and 0.8 maybe, and 1.8 squares each side, and nearly 2 squares that side, and again the same amount this side. So actually this car is set up super square correctly from the box. And of course, being a Carrera Digital person, I am going to fit the 26740 Carrera Digital chip, which is intended for the F1 cars, but it fits in these quite nicely. Now, I saw a video the other day. Massimo from MP Slot Car was having a bit of trouble with his click. Here we go, mate, look. Now, I've got a couple of spare working ones. I'll email you one later. So as you can see, I have fitted the digital chip. A few little bits of blue tack on those brass adjusters and a little bit underneath just to hold it all in. Grey wire to red, purple wire to black on the motor, and the black and reds at the front. Just need to put a little bit of oil on all of these and set the gear mesh up by adjusting those 2 screws there. And we should be good for the track. So here we are at the track. I've oiled everything. It's all looking fairly tight and tidy. I've put a couple of bits of electrical tape by the side of the chassis to stop it rattling, and I adjusted those 2 screws just to get the gear mesh so there's a slight amount of backlash in it, not too much. If you can just about feel it, it's probably right. Now, here's a peg. Uniquely to these GT2 Revo slots, the back of the chassis allows you to fix a peg on there, and then you can lay it on the track and keep the rear wheels off the ground. So this is great, because if you just want to run the gears for a little bit just to get them to sort of wear in and mesh a little bit better, maybe put a little bit of car polish on there is John Albright's recommendation, just to almost grind the gears in, that works great. Now, if you've got a digital car on a digital Carrera track, you can of course set this up as a ghost car, like that. And now you can run this motor for as long as you like to bed it in and to bed the gears in before you run it on the track. So here we are, let's do some laps. Okay, with just that little bit of tuning up and a bit of running in, this car is instantly fast and well handling, as you'd expect from a Revo slot, and especially a 911 GT2 Revo slot. It's what I like to call a bit of a hooligan of a car. You can throw it at the corners and it absolutely loves it. There we are, didn't crash it either. So, as you may know if you follow this channel, I've got 2 of these Revoslot GT2s. This new white one and the old Repsol one. They are very similar. There's only a few little minor body changes, the front splitter and a few details on the rear wing. The important thing here is that that Repsol one is actually the lap record holder for my track out of all my cars by quite a margin, at least 2-3 tenths over anything else. But if we go to the leaderboard, you'll see that the new GT2 is pretty much the same as the old GT2. In fact, in Sector 3, it's quicker than my first one. And it is overall, 47/100ths of a second slower from the lap time. It is a brilliant car, as you would expect, and ideally suited to this track. So there we are. Revoslot 911 GT2s. As always, thanks for watching one of my videos. If you liked it, you will find a button specifically for that. Please subscribe to the channel, it really does help. When we get to 2,000, Mrs. Slot will get me another car. Hit the bell, you'll get a notification the next time I post a video. And of course, check out this slot car channel, which is Lee's Slot Cars. Lee's a great guy, he's had some troubles in his life, but recently it's all new beginnings. He's moved to a new house, he's got a new shed, he's got a new slot car track layout, and he's going to really push his channel in the new year. So looking forward to that journey with Lee.